What happens when the water runs out? What happens when the food runs out? What happens when that shortage is just supposed to be a temporary shortage ends up being a long-term shortage?
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVPs. So lovelies, I came across this video on my For You and I thought to share where black men are, out to speak about the happenings and how important it is for black people to unify, like come together and unite this time around. He also, goes as far as to talk about the BRICS and how black people should look towards BRICS. And there's another stage I put up here now about some of our brothers talking about the happenings, the recent happenings, uh, and actually gave some ideas and advice on what black people ought to do at this point in time, lovelies. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any.
What happens when the water runs out? What happens when the food runs out? What happens when that shortage is just supposed to be a temporary shortage ends up being a long-term shortage? What happens when that dollar no longer holds its value? BRICS. You should be looking up BRICS. If you don't understand what BRICS is, BRICS. You should be researching that. You should be understanding what that is. What happens when the world no longer cooperates with the United States tyrannical rule? What happens when the ship that you're depending on sinks? What happens when this country collapses? Will you go down with the ship? The problem with a lot of pro-black talk is we don't seem to comprehend the long-term effect. We don't seem to comprehend or think of what's to come in the future. I understand the war talk. I understand the self-defense talk. But where we miss a lot of times is we are engulfed, surrounded by a failing nation, a nation that owes everybody in the world money. A nation that owes everybody in the world something, a nation that is in everybody's business, a nation that is meddling and manipulating everybody's business around the world. And there's a breaking point to this. There's a point, whether if it's China, Russia, Africa, whoever, the many laundry list of enemies this country has, there is a breaking point where everyone will say no more. You can look to Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. You can look at Putin. You can look at China. You can look everywhere in the world. If you are not completely sold, if you are not completely brainwashed and conditioned by American propaganda, and see what the play is. It isn't even so much warfare physically. It's cyber. It's agricultural. It's mental, emotional, social media warfare. It's all of this. See, everyone knows that the American military is not nothing to play with. So a lot of the other countries and continents are treading on a line while trying to figure out how to combat this enemy. African Americans, Mexican Americans, Native Americans, we're the only ones on enemy soil that have the potential to do the most damage because we're here domestically. So I'm going to ask again, will you go down with the ship? Because this ship will sink. This ship is sinking. It don't take much research for you to learn that. I want black people, Native Americans, Hispanic Americans to stop with this bullshit. There is no real issue here between black, Native American, Hispanic, okay? There's no real issue. Here's what happens. Black people have a bad experience with Hispanics. Black people have a bad experience with Native Americans. Native Americans have a bad experience with black people. Hispanic people have a bad experience with Native Americans and black people. And then we all just close our doors to each other for good. We have a common enemy. We have common history. There is no reason to shut your doors to each other. Everybody experiences a bad apple in the bunch, but one bad apple in that bunch can spoil the entire bunch. So we have to understand that these self-hatred monsters, these individuals that have been consumed by their own trauma, consumed by their own experiences, and that has been the conditioning method that they've created entire narratives and ideology around. We can't have that. Those individuals are too dangerous for this community because they become harmful and self-destructive to the narrative that we're trying to push forward. If you hope to push forward unity, whether if it's in the Black community, Hispanic community, Native American community, you cannot have any self-destructive people in it. You can't have none of the whitewashness, whether if it's Black, Native American, or Hispanic. You can't have no sellouts. You can't have none of them halfway pro-Black, halfway whitewashed people. You can't have none of it. You have to be very, very meticulous and careful in how you let people in the gate. That is the only place where gatekeeping is good. We have to start gatekeeping this community. You know who contributes? You know who benefits from us being a mess? From us sitting up here trying to tear each other apart every 5 seconds over everything and anything? One group of people. You know who benefits, right? So if you know who benefits, you should be going against it at all costs. At all costs. If I have a problem with Black women, that's my issue with Black women. I will not sit up here and disparage and disrespect them on social media waves or period, for the simple fact that I know who's watching this and I know what validation that they're trying to seek out. You got individuals that follow me right now, not just white, Black, Native American, Hispanic, whitewashed, sellout individuals that are just waiting in the shadows, that are just watching just to be nosy, that are just watching just to keep tabs on me. They operate on keep my friends close, but my enemies closer. I also understand that lifestyle. I understand the rule. So they can't get out of our business. They can't leave us alone because their very existence as a sellout is dependent upon keeping us underneath a white thumb. And lastly, if you've gotten this far, nothing I ever do for this community will be advertised on the internet. That goes for that video I posted, that video. Nothing I do will be shown. Nothing, no action I take will be shown on the internet. If you have to question that and you don't understand why, you're part of the problem and you need to get the hell off my page.
For everybody that's been asking what the plan is, this is the video for you. So grab your pen, grab your pad, and lock in with me. This is a multi-phase plan. So for all the scary people, before you jump in the comment section talking about we need to take this offline, they watching us, all this extra shit, that comes in the later phases. Phase 1, it is important that as many people in our community is aware of it. It doesn't matter if it gets outside of our community. None of that shit fucking matters because this only applies to Black people and you either gonna get on board or you're not. And what phase 1 is what I've been talking about in my past few videos. Establishing a new community code of conduct that sets a standard to which we are all held to and operate by. And that's what I'm about to share in this video. We're going to go through some of the first articles of this new code of conduct. I'm looking for everybody's feedback so, I can finalize it, make some revisions, and then I'll put the link in my bio so everybody and their mama can fucking share it. So what we're about to do right now is go through some of the first articles right here. All right, here are the first few articles. I'm going to run through them and then give a brief summary of all of them so we can all understand what the fuck we talking about and there ain't no confusion. Article 1. No hand should be lifted in malice against a member of the community. The spilling of another's blood weakens the whole. Disputes shall be judged with counsel and restored with peace, not settled by rage or destruction. You got a problem with somebody in our community, you take it to our local community council and they will handle it in a fair fashion. Don't be out here taking the lives of your brothers and sisters, doing the work of our oppressors for them over no dumb shit. Also putting everybody else's life at stake because you can't handle your fucking emotions. Article 2. Let no false witness be raised against one another. Lies fracture the house and deceit opens the door to ruin. A word given must be a word kept. Don't be out here lying on people, breaking down the trust of the community. And if you give your word, stand on that shit and mean it. Article 3. Elders are to be honored as keepers of memory and children are to be guarded as carriers of promise. To dishonor the elder or neglect the child is to violate the future. Respect our elders, listen to their lessons, protect the kids, and remember it takes a village. Guide them, teach them, and make sure nobody else is doing them a disservice. Article 4. Everyone will be treated with mutual respect, regardless of gender, ethnicity, age, sexual orientation, religion, and mental or physical disabilities. And my apologies for this last part because a little TikTok record button is kind of covering it up. Women shall not be exploited, dishonored, or abandoned. Men shall not be belittled, betrayed, or discarded. Don't let our differences be the downfall of our progress. It's pretty simple. Leave your fucking bigotry at home. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your fucking beliefs is. Nobody is bigger than the fucking program. We may not all agree with one another. Shit. Sometimes we may not even like one another. Nobody is saying we got to be best friends, but we damn sure gonna love one another. And if you got a problem with that, then you are not a part of this community.
By now, everybody knows about the story of Kyron Lacey, a young man who had declared for the draft fresh out of LSU, and how in 2024 he was accused. Well, there was an accident. There was a car accident. And Kyron Lacey was accused of murdering a 78-year-old Louisiana man. One day before the indictment was to come down, he took his own life. Now, through video evidence and body cam footage, we now know Kyron Lacey was innocent. Kyron Lacey was innocent. But the people over at Barstool Sports, that wasn't enough for him. Some guy named Jack Mack, or whoever the fuck his funky ass name is, he decided to basically label this kid. And so did the right-wing racist sphere all over social media. Their racism could not wait to come out of their mouth. And now he can't be vindicated because he's dead. The people at Barstool Sports, all the racists over there on X, gonna give it to you in the Twitter, that racists on here, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, they're all over. You know why they're comfortable doing this? Labeling somebody guilty and a thug and a gangbanger and all other shit, especially when they're black or brown. Do you know why they can get away with doing this? Because the people that know them don't fucking check their ass. They don't. Some of y'all, not even some, a lot of y'all have a bunch of racist white folk in your white family. You don't say shit to them. You don't. Somebody related to Jack Mack should have cussed him the fuck out. They should have cussed him the fuck out. Because his bullshit and other people's bullshit led to this young man unaliving himself because he was getting ready to get indicted for a crime he didn't fucking commit. But it reminds me. Oh, it reminds me. But that's how it always is. The people who could check races don't check races because they're in their fucking family. As simple as that. As simple as that. It's the misdirection for me. It's always the look over there for me. You see, I am becoming extremely tired of doing the emotional labor for people who don't want to do the work or do the work in such a fucking way that makes it worse. Kind of tired of it. Really am kind of tired of it. When you hear one of these fucking bearded white men talk about did do nothing or we was kangs, that's racist dog whistles. These men and women make videos like this. You mean to tell me nobody in their family saw it? Ain't nobody in their family saw the shit. So when they say the shit out loud, rather than their family members who know what they're doing, saying any goddamn thing, it then becomes imperative on us. Kyron Lacey had to prove he was innocent. He had to prove it. Why? Why was it his job? Because, once again, I say all the time, first they kill the body, then they kill the reputation. Kyron Lacey unalived himself because he knew he didn't do anything wrong and he was still going to end up paying for it anyway. And the racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, anti-Semitic, Islamophobic, transphobic, ableist, white patriarchal, loudmouth bitches did exactly what they always fucking do. Let's lean on some goddamn stereotypes, because actually doing factual information is too fucking hard. The problem I'm having is they're walking around here saying and doing this shit, and nobody in their fucking family, none of their friends, people that fucking know them, are not telling them, sit your goofy ass down and shut the fuck up. It becomes imperative on the victims to fight the oppressor, rather than the motherfuckers that know the oppressor's there and not doing any goddamn thing. George Floyd is the soup du jour. Listen, you want to be a white person and piss off some black folk? Go ahead and say something about George Floyd, because you know for a fucking fact nobody in your family is going to say anything to you. You can make a George Floyd joke over Thanksgiving dinner and everybody's just gonna laugh. Even the people who are like, yo, that is really fucked up, that man was killed. Do you think they're gonna say anything? Fuck no. Fuck no. Because that's too much like right, too much like real, and way too goddamn much like something an accomplice would do. It then becomes put upon the families of the loved ones, the families of the people who are not, the families of the person who is not here. It then becomes imperative on those motherfuckers to fight the fucking battle. Why? Fucking why? Why? Why was that young man labeled long before any dash cam, any video, anything came out? Why was he labeled as a thug and a gangster and shit? Why? Why? Because that's the easiest fucking trope to go on. And the people that will say that shit know goddamn well nobody will ever tell them, sit down, shut up, fuck you doing. I saw that post on Facebook. I saw that post on Instagram. I follow you on X, gonna give it to you in the Twitter. I saw what you tweeted. What the fuck is wrong with you? Nothing. Nothing. So when these people get emboldened and they start stitching videos and saying the N-word and shit like that, we gotta deal with it. Now it becomes a us problem. Where them allies at? Right on the side. Yeah, I believe in you. Motherfucker, then get in there and fight this dude. Why am I fighting him? Why the fuck do I have to do it? Everybody loves to give us the stereotypes, but nobody ever gives us the apologies afterward. Like I said, George Floyd is their one. He's their new one. First they killed a body, then they killed a reputation. Tamir Rice, first they killed a body, then they killed a reputation. Breonna Taylor, first they killed a body, then they killed a reputation. Trayvon Martin, first they killed a body, then they killed a reputation. Eric Garner, first they killed a body, then they killed a reputation. Philando Castillo, first they killed a body, then they killed a reputation. Over and over and over. Infinitum. It becomes tiring to talk to these people. So why are we doing it? Why the fuck are we doing it when there's family members that know this motherfucker's wrong and they just won't tell them the truth? They just won't fucking tell them the truth. Allies got a line in the sand until the tide comes in. Tide washes it right the fuck away. You ain't got no more fucking line in the sand. Like, what the fuck? This young man was innocent of this shit. Innocent. And he took his own life knowing that he was innocent and not being able to prove it. And nobody's... Like I said, why isn't anybody going to the Barstool Sports Twitter page, or what is it, Mac Jack or whatever the fuck his name is? Why aren't they going in there and saying, kid was innocent, when you gonna take this down? This aged like milk in a car in a goddamn junkyard. When are you going to take this down? Emotional labor brought to you by black and brown folks is becoming extremely tiring. I hate a motherfucker that doesn't show up until the victory is known. Kyron Lacey was an innocent man. An innocent young man, had his whole future ahead of him. And he took his own life rather than face the prospect of going to prison for something he didn't do.
Some of this, when I saw these stitches, I actually, thought I was just going to put it up here because they were all just making a lot of sense. Lovelies, there comes a time when, people need to stop talking about unity and actually living in it. People have seen too much division, too much distraction, and too much confusion in Black community, right? According to what the brother I'm stitching their video, and too much confusion in the community as well. Every time people get closer to building something solid, the world throws something new to tear it apart. But the thing is that I think they cannot afford to keep failing for that or falling for that. Now is actually the time, or it's not actually the time for everything around us to start shifting, because the world economy is changing fast. The US dollar, the same system that controlled global trade for decades, is slowly losing its grip. Countries are waking up. They are moving towards something called the BRICS currency, right? That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South African nation coming together to build a financial system that doesn't depend on the dollar. And you know what? That's power, that's cooperation, that's unity in action. And yet, when people look at what is going on, there's still no single trust for each other, no support you know for each other, no investments, ideas, and all of that. So I totally understand where the Black brothers that I stitched the video is actually coming from, because Black people have actually gone from creativity, the brilliance, the culture, and the influence, but people are not wanting to push. That's a real problem. I think the time to wake up is now. The dollar is weakening. That means everything tied to it, from saving to trade, could shift overnight. While some people are panicking, others are researching, strategizing, and investing. That's what's that is needed right now and need to be done. Not just scrolling, not just arguing online, but learning about alternative investments, learning about digital currency, learning about the BRIC system and how it could affect people. When this brother was talking about the BRICS, I actually looked up to it. You know, not let fear stop you from being informed. People really need to start building knowledge. Brothers and sisters sitting down talking about how to prepare for this new world economy, because it's getting tougher. If people are not ready, people are going to be left behind. Look, unity isn't about the marching or hashtag, it's about action. Economic unity, mental unity, and emotional unity. It's about saying, I see you, my brother, I see you, my sister, let's build something real. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but if BRICS country can unite across continents, cultures, and language for a shared purpose, I think everybody can actually do that, right? By coming together to survive and to progress. Because the world is shifting, whether we like it or not. The world is really shifting, and let's not be the last to catch up. We should just start, making some research, learning, investing, even in small ways, because small steps lead to generational changes, right? So, my brothers and sisters, when I saw this, I thought that, okay. And to the last teacher I put up here about a Black brother that was falsely accused, and now he's been cleared of all accusation, is just something that is so disappointing. And that also shows again how systemic racism is a deal breaker, which is service. Like, it's so heartbroken. I stitched a video about span color people reacting to that, because I actually want to know what I have to say. I just look it up, lovelies. I think it's a video before this or after this. Anyway, lovelies, wanna just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please share this video. Subscribe to this channel if you're here to do that. Like, and I will see you lovely when I upload the next one. Thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. Please do not forget that we do not, support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please share this video, subscribe, leave a thought, and I will see you lovely when I upload the next one.